We are a collaboration of the Planetary Science Institute working in collaboration with Youngstown State University. 365 Days of Astronomy is a production of CosmoQuest, and it is managed by Aviva Yamani, and audio production is by Richard Drum. Now, our content, we couldn't do it without everyone. And when I say everyone, I kind of mean everyone, because over the 10 years that we have been here, we have had hundreds of podcasters from all over the world, and I am proud to welcome one of them. Welcome, Julio. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you everyone for the bits. I have the happiest dogs ever, and I am the happiest human ever. I do think the dogs may be capable of a higher level of happiness than I am. Welcome, Julio. How are you doing today?
Hello, Pamela. How are you today? I'm doing fine.
I am having a great day. And where are you coming to us from?
Okay, I am from Nicaragua, Central America. I am currently living in Peru, Lima, Peru, South America.
Yeah.
Things that happen in life. But
Yeah.
I'm from Central America, and I've been following you and CosmoQuest for many years now.
And we are pleased to have you as part of everything that we've been able to do. And where you are is one of the most dramatically beautiful parts of the world, with incredible mountains and wildlife. And you have dark skies because you don't have that many huge cities. Well, Lima is a huge city. Lima is a truly huge city. I don't generally go to cities that big. But once you exit Lima, oh my God, the skies are dark. And you are an amateur astronomer. What was it that got you
Yep.
looking through a telescope? Was it that dark skies, or was it something else?
Well, actually, when I was 5 years old, my dad was really nervous because my sister was about to be born.
Hmm.
And I was 5 years old, and he was so nervous. It was a time before dawn, and he started to pointing to the stars. Hey, take a look at that. Take a look. Don't be nervous, Julio. Don't be nervous. Okay, just look at that star. And I was like, yeah, whatever. It was 3 a.m. in the morning, so I was more sleepy than paying
Oh,
attention. But then, for some reason, okay, my father is pointing out to the sky. I don't know what it is. Then I discovered the stars for the first time.
oh,
And
wow.
by that moment, I was, what? And actually, it was the Big Dipper up high in the sky. Well, high in the sky relative to Nicaragua's or
Right.
Central America position because it's really, really low compared to the
Yeah.
United States. But it was there. It was amazing. And he started to tell me the stories about the Big Dipper and how it was known in other cultures. And I was like, oh my God, what is this?
So
And since there,
what were the
uh,
cultural stories? Do you remember?
it was something about Greek and Roman mythology. Not remember them right now, but you know the story about the sisters trying to climb, and I think you call it. There is this mountain. It was featured in one of the Neil deGrasse Tyson Cosmos episode when he was referring to the Big Dipper. There is this mountain. It was also featured in the Third Encounters with the Third Kind movie, I
Oh,
think.
the one that's in the
The
America
Devil's
Southwest.
Tower. Yeah,
It's,
the
yeah,
Devil's Tower, I think. Yeah.
yes, that's
So he
exactly what
started
it
to
is.
tell me that kind of stories, and I was, oh wow. And since then, I started to read a lot of books. Well, the kind of literature we had in that moment. Maybe I don't know if you are aware of the political situation in my region.
Yeah.
In the 80s and 90s, it was really conflicted.
Yeah.
So documentation about astronomy or science was very limited. So my dad, he used to bring me newspapers or something from many places because he used to travel a lot,
Yeah.
and that kept me hooked on the topic. Then when we finally managed to get internet, so I started to, get every documentation possible. And from there, I realized there was a huge community of amateur astronomers in the country, and we started to get together, and finally we began doing our work as amateur astronomers.
And so one of the things that I've noticed, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, here in North America, in the United States and Canada, amateur astronomers are quite often fairly affluent individuals who have very fancy equipment, and um, it's a hobby. It is a thing that they
Hmm.
get together the first Wednesday of the month and they celebrate with the other individuals and listen to lectures. But then when I travel to other parts of the world, it's much more of this, we're going to go out and we're going to look up and we're going to invite everybody, and it's all ages and it's everyone involved. And we've never figured out how to replicate that here. What has your experience been like?
Well, we've been working on that kind of activities for 15 years now.
Yeah.
As I said, we gather. I gather with a huge group. For us, is a 30 people group for the starters,
Yeah.
and then we began contacting more people and starting to produce, let's say like that, astronomy public lectures. Okay,
Mhm.
free astronomy lectures for the people. And it was amazing to see that in a small room that was, for about 100 people, we had 400 people there attending.
Right.
So, wow, this is amazing. People is interested in this topic. So we started to continue doing it. And now we have been serving more than 6,000 people just in these public lectures we do every day, every year. And the situation with the amateur astronomers in my country is that not everyone has a telescope,
Right.
but well, they're expensive for
Yeah.
most of the economy in the region, and they are not sold in the country or even in Central America. We need to buy them from the United States. So add to that, shipping and handling and customs and all of that. So
Yeah.
it is really expensive. But every now and then, one astronomer has the ability to save some money, and suddenly you have a Dobsonian, a 14-inch Dobsonian in the field, and
Uh-huh.
that obviously attracts a lot of people. So what we do is we go to social networking and announce, okay, guys, we're going to be in this plaza, we're going to be in this town, free, especially the word free,
Yeah.
free open activities for you. Hundreds of people gather with us. So
That's
I don't know if
amazing.
if you're able to have access to the pictures I shared
Oh.
with Binary Ablaze.
Yes. Hold on. I need to figure out which account I have them in.
Your Gmail account. I
Okay, that's what I
placed it.
needed to know.
Yeah.
Okay. I have so many email things going on right now.
Imagine.
Found
There is
it.
a
Okay.
Google Drive. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so let me, aha, I figured out how to do
Okay.
this, and I will share
Okay.
them in.
As you're trying to open the pictures, well,
I
we
got them.
started as a small group of 30 people, but then with all of these years, uh, people from every part of the country have has joined to the activities. And what started as a local group is now practically replicated. Oh, that's a beautiful dog you have there.
Thank you. So the audience can't see him right now. He knew I had
Yeah.
Cheerios on my desk and he just wanted the Cheerios. Let me switch views so that the audience can see for a moment what you were just getting to
Okay. Okay.
enjoy. Let's see if he'll get his nose back up here. Um Come here, baby boy. So this is Eddie. He is a food hound. He is
Mm-hmm.
my best bud, and he loves when I stream because he knows that if people make a donation, I will give him Cheerios. Okay, but to go back to your photos because your photos are
Okay.
kind of cool. So I currently have
Thank you.
have the first one up. So there's a bunch of people with star charts
Oh
looking
yeah.
up at the sky together.
Okay, that picture that was taken during the 100 Hours of Astronomy event, that was practically our first international event we were participating. In that night, particularly, we attended more than 2,000 people in one night, and
Holy.
only four telescopes.
Oh, geez.
So, yeah, so the star chart you see there, we were able to produce a small calendar with the star charts and mythology and stories about astronomy. And people, well, gather around and everyone took one. So the one guy, I think the picture is the one guy pointing to the sky, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, his name is Pablo. He's one of our most enthusiastic, amateurs here, and he's into the outreach events. So he's really enthusiastic, and he managed to drive all the people's attention to the sky. And we didn't have a green laser pointer in that moment,
Yeah.
but then eventually, we have been improving, and now people is, wow, that is this, that is that. That is
And
amazing.
I just switched over to an amazingly straight line of people lined up to look through
Hmm.
a telescope.
Hmm.
And there's this
Well, that's
one
what we
kid
have.
in the
Yeah.
line who has this look of, it's a scope and you have a
Yeah.
camera. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
that kid is just in awe of the moment. And
Oh yeah, that is one of the things that keep us going, because we all remember the first time we saw through a telescope. For many of us, right now is kind of a familiar view, if you like.
yeah,
Yeah, we have Saturn. Yeah, there's the rings, nice. But for this kind of kids, and when I meant this kind of kids is because these are the let's say it like this, the poor people. They
yeah,
have no access to any technology or something like that. So obviously they've gone crazy with telescopes,
yeah.
and we have experience with visiting schools, public schools especially, and the students, elementary school especially, they are willing to pass one, two, twice, three times to the telescope. And the teachers are, hey, you already did it. Not because I want to see it again. I want to see it again. There is
So,
one picture, I think, one of the finals. You see a small kid with a solar filter watching to the sun.
okay, let
I
me
think
see
it's
if I
one of the
can
finals.
get to that. I just pulled up one that appears to be a family and there's this little girl who just has the biggest smile on her
Oh yeah,
face.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's the orange celestron telescope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that
Oh,
that look, that kind of impression in the kids is amazing. That is the one thing that keep us doing this work.
yeah.
It's kind of easy, if you want to say it, because people don't have this, so they are always looking for this opportunity. So when you have a lot of telescopes in town, obviously, kind of, all right, it's always the same thing, okay? But when you find people in developing countries, this is the kind of reactions that everyone has.
There's a photo I just pulled up that I love the dichotomy. In the background is I don't know if it's an old city building or an old cathedral, and then there's a
Hmm.
gentleman looking through a solar scope, and it
Hmm.
looks like he's holding a platter of sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly. He is. He is. He was a street sandwich seller.
Uh huh.
So This is one kind of activities we do. Actually, the solar telescope is the only one we have in Nicaragua. There is
Okay.
no other solar telescope for the moment. I don't know if you have heard the project Solar Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project. Maybe
Say that again.
Charlie Bates Solar Astronomy Project.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so I haven't met Charlie Bates, but yes, I've heard of the project.
Okay, so we were working with them. So the telescope came as a donation from the team, and we were okay, guys. We're gonna do this now. We're gonna do solar astronomy. So and we go to plazas, public plazas, and astronomy is for all. It's for everyone. We are not the people who thinks, okay, if you pay, you can come. No, we don't do that. This is free for everyone, and we like people from the streets. to go there. Actually, there is another picture. I didn't share it with you, but we have a street clown performer also from that day, and he was, fully clothed as a clown, and he was, oh, come on, kids, everybody, come here. Well,
Yeah.
okay, the clown is doing advertisement of the event,
And
so I want to see. Go
I
ahead.
I just found another picture that's fabulous that is two little boys holding up meteorites, and
Oh yeah.
it's just awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm holding one right now. I don't know if you can see it in the
Yeah.
screen. A small, okay, over here. Okay, so we have a small collection of meteorites like this.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, this is going to play with the kids' imagination, you
Yeah.
know? So what we try to do, there is another picture. Maybe you can see a set of three tables, I think, with a
Yeah.
kind of small showcase. Okay, we like to do that. So we don't say a word. We're just standing next to the tables and see what people said. Then they suddenly come and take a look. What's that? All right, this is a rock from a volcano. This is a rock from a mine, and this is a rock from outer space. What? So, and we start talking with them, and people is amazed. And the look you see in their faces is the same every single time,
Yeah.
especially with kids.
And eh, what is awesome about the current time that we live in is thanks to smartphones. If you can
Hmm.
get kids sucked in, every family nowadays has a smartphone. You have to. But not everyone has a computer. Not everyone has a Surface or an iPad. It's
Hmm.
that phone. And
Hmm.
nowadays we have the ability to download software and say, "Hey, let me share the sky with you."
Hmm.
Um, what is the most amazing experience you've had so far?
Okay. When we were doing our initial astronomy lectures to the public, we were using this software, Starry Nights.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. It's licensed. So if you are legal, if you are okay doing the right thing, you cannot share the software.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So we were thinking, okay, everyone is asking for a copy of the software. We
Yeah.
cannot do this.
Yeah.
All right. And somebody says, okay, we have a Stellarium, the free software.
Yes.
You know it? Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
excellent.
Really? Let's take a look. And we saw it and we started using Stellarium in our lectures. And now we can give you a copy of this. But that was for the computer. And then our team began to search for apps in the smartphones. And now every time we do a public outreach, we have a list of software, that they can download for free. And people is amazing. Wow, wow, yeah, we can do this. Especially if the software have the feature of showing the constellations and all the stuff, that keeps the people thrilled on the application. So it's been really useful for us, especially with kids.
That that is a side of the open source software market that I hadn't really thought of.
Hmm.
And it's even more encouragement to keep doing everything and just letting it into the world for free. And this is one of the really important things about how the people who can donate to support these free
Hmm.
projects for the people who can't. And
Exactly.
it is a way of basically saying, yes, this is important. I have the ability. I'm going to make it happen, even though the real people to benefit are those kids all over the
Oh yeah.
world.
Yeah, they are. I don't know if you have a picture there. I'm standing next to a group of students. They have red shirts. Maybe you can find it. I think it is.
Yeah, let
Okay.
me find it.
Okay. One of the remarkable results we have during doing this outreach and using this kind of software is that thanks to Astronomers Without Borders, Mike Simmons and all the gang,
Yeah.
we were able in 2012, to participate in a Hunt for Asteroids project
Uh-huh.
that is focused on students. Okay, So we enrolled a set of students, a team of students, the ones you see in the picture, and they were able to find an asteroid
Oh,
using the
excellent.
project. Yeah. So actually, we've been doing this since 2012 with the help of Astronomers Without Borders. And we began the very first time, and then we got one, and it was immediately confirmed. It already has an official name, uh, 2012 FE52. Okay, so you know what happened after that? The school went crazy, completely crazy. The principals, the teachers, the students, the parents. 1 year later, we have an observatory built at the school.
Really?
Yep. So the first school astronomy observatory in the recent years built on a school. So I
That
had the chance, yeah. So it was actually featured in one of the Sky and Telescope magazines as an article over there. So yeah, and that is only because we are trying to, enroll students and young people in this astronomy stuff, as they like to say it. And well, we're doing it.
so Fenmil just so one of our humans just donated an amazing donation, and
Wow.
I am going to throw all the not all the Cheerios. I tried that once with dog treats, and I ended up getting Cheerios all over my desk. So let's see. I'm gonna have to stand up to do this. Go over there. Go over there.
Thank you
Oh,
for the donation.
I
That's
am
amazing. Thank you.
so this is how we thank people. We give them cuteness. And in this case, it is Cheerios scattered all over the floor and the dogs happily grazing. I currently have Cheerios landed on top of one of my dogs, and I'm waiting for the other
Oh,
dog to spot that. Um, Thank you, Fenmil. You can't see the heart shape I just made at the camera because the camera is on the dogs. Thank you so much. So while we watch this cute awesomeness of dog grazing occurring, um, so you were able to, with one group of students, find an asteroid,
hmm
and the inspiration of what you did motivated a community to build an observatory that will be there for generations of students to come. That is
yeah.
the most amazing thing.
Yeah, and that was unexpected. We were working with the school for many years trying to convince the principals and the community, maybe we can build a small, house, a small room in the backyard. Maybe we can find a small telescope, something like that. And then everybody went crazy. Let's build the observatory. Okay. So it was really amazing. But one thing that is happening in my country right now is that sadly, science and technology is not being, it's not a priority. And I think it's a reality for every country, especially in developing countries. And it's been really hard to try to keep, the ball rolling because if you want to find investment or you want to find donors, you need to look for them outside in other countries, not
Yeah.
inside the country.
No,
So
it's
it's really,
true.
really hard. But that doesn't mean that the people is not interested. We began as a small group of 30 people 15 years ago, and now there are at least six more astronomy clubs in many places,
Yeah.
and many other have been, built in the schools. So that is amazing. Some people tell us, okay, what are you winning with this? Are you earning money? Why is your motivation? What is your motivation on this? Well, the motivation is look at the face of the kids,
Yeah.
that big smile,
Yeah.
and knowing that perhaps one of these activities, perhaps one or two of these kids will hopefully follow a science or technology major when they grow up. So
And
we believe that astronomy is a really good tool, a really awesome tool to inspire younger generations to perform, outreach and to perform investigations and research.
yeah.
And this is our work. So we are betting on that. we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the next 5, 10, 15 years.
That is amazing. And pardon me for one moment, the dog just took the entire Cheerios box.
Okay.
He didn't get it open. He just casually took the box. So the Cheerios box is now slightly dented and slimed. He just like casually walked over and picked it up off the edge of my desk. Come here.
This is amazing.
He's a dork.
We have a dog. It's called Ursa Major because of the constellation, and she's amazing. She's a really smart dog. And we were having fun with the recent photography of the black hole. We were looking for memes, and there is one meme of a completely black dog looking to the owner, and it's so furry that it looks like a neatly perfect black hole with eyes looking at the owner. And I said, okay, in closer locations, scientists have discovered another black hole, the kind that leaves no traces of food on the floor. So yeah, dogs are like that.
They are fabulous. We are all highly motivated by dogs around here. But it is nearing the end of this far too fast half hour. If people want to follow what you're doing and support your efforts, where can they go?
Okay, they can visit our astronomy club fan page in Facebook. What I can do is share with in the Discord chat room.
Yes.
I will post the link, or maybe you can share it later. Okay. And well, right now I must say this briefly. Because of the political situation right now happening in my country, the activities have been stopped for a moment because it's a lot of big problems there. So we don't want to risk population to go to a place and being harmed by other people. So right now we have 1 year in standing by, sadly, but hopefully we will start over again. But in the meantime, if you go to our Facebook page, you can see all of the activities we have been doing. And eventually we try to post pictures and videos, astrophotography stuff. We are not the best, but we are trying to do it to keep the people, enthusiastic about astronomy. So that's what we do.
And trying, if you never try, you never do anything. And trying is so much better than all the people who never try at all. So kudos for trying to keep it going against so many different diversities. You are doing amazing work. Keep it up, and I look forward to continuing to collaborate with you over the years on whatever new opportunities may arise.
Thank you. Same for you. And hello to everyone. Don't keep an eye on those dogs. They're amazing.
Thank you so much. So I am going to switch the scenes out while I work on prepping. We are about to have a pair of guests. And Julio, you can just leave and watch us on Twitch and life will be good.
There.
So we have two people joining us right now. And our setup is going to slightly break as I do this, but that's okay. We're going to make this work. So with me, I have Allen Versfeld and Clem Unger, and I'm so sorry. I'm just having a day of mispronouncing everything randomly. So Allen, I'm gonna ask you to come on first and introduce the two of you, and apologies for not having the best of setup, so we're going to be going back and forth between you and Clem. So go ahead, Allen.
Hi. Yeah, well, we both work on the Urban Astronomer podcast. That's been running about 2 years now, and I think it was a few months back. I invited Clem along to start working with me as well. He does all our mission updates and what have you. we do send our stuff to 365 Days, although it's a couple episodes behind. So anybody listening through there hasn't heard Clem's voice yet. But that won't take long to catch up.
So you have been working with us for what feels like years and years and years, and probably has been years and years and years. What first brought you to 365 Days of Astronomy?
Wow. I mean, that would have been when it started, International Year of Astronomy. That's when I started Urban Astronomer, which was,
you helped us
the
earn
website
this.
/ blog, that's been going.
You were part of earning this back in 2009?
Did I?
Yeah.
I hope so. Oh dear, things seem to be freezing up. Okay. Was it just a video?
You're
so but I mean, I've been helping out on with Carnival of Space and what have you. Oh, I've lost my train of thought because it's just gone midnight over here, so it's a little bit late.
So you're coming to us from England?
No, from South Africa.
Oh, dang it. Dang it. Yeah. I did the wrong... Wait, South Africa's 6 hours off?
It could be. I mean, do you guys have daylight savings, I believe?
That's why. Sorry, I was having a moment of forgetting daylight savings time moves South Africa in time.
Yeah, no, it moves you in time. We don't have these silly systems, yeah. Oh, anyway.
So I believe that we actually met in 2010. At the Communicating Astronomy to the Public meeting? Or am I hallucinating that?
No, we would have met on, I think it was one of your 24-hour hangout-a-thons.
Okay, that's what it was. So that would have been 2012.
Yeah. That sounds right.
So it's been so long that memories are faulty. Now, you brought a new human on who is sitting there smiling kindly in the background. Clem, I'm going to invite you on screen, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, but maybe actually I can scooch you sideways. There, you are now centered. So Clem, you're new to the Urban Astronomer. Tell me what brings you, and do you have urban skies?
I do have urban skies, and hi to everyone. My name's Clem Unger, and I'm also a Southern Hemisphere guy, but I'm in Australia. So Alan and I have probably the podcast that spans most of the Southern Hemisphere, with the exception of South America, so very international. And I was listening to Alan's podcast for quite a while, and contacted him, and we had a bit of a chat, and he found out that I'm actually an OSIRIS-REx ambassador, and I'm the only one in Australia doing that. And so I do STEM outreach, go into schools, talk to students. And he invited me on the show to talk about that. And it went so swimmingly well that we thought, well, let's do that again. So we have quarterly shows together when we talk about what's up in the sky. So really astronomy heavy. And I try to have a mission update in every monthly show. Roughly it comes out where I talk about what's happening space-wise at the moment. And we have lots of fun doing that. And I enjoy it. So I'm a podcast newbie, but let's see what happens.
Now, OSIRIS-REx is near and dear to my heart. I am a contractor on the mission, and we here at CosmoQuest are working on developing some of the software that they're using internal to the team to do some basic mapping tasks. And we will be doing a citizen science project in the days to come. Now, I did not know that we had collaborators on other continents. Can you tell us more about what it is that you do? And then I'm going to bring Alan back And actually, I'm going to try and figure out in the interim how to get both of you on simultaneously, because I think I can pull that off. Yes, I figured out how to pull it off. You're not centered, but I now have both of you. You are stacked. I have stacked
Oh.
podcasters.
Better stop picking my nose then. Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Well, OSIRIS-REx quickly. So I'm following the mission for a very long time from its conception, and I saw that it's possible to become an ambassador for the mission via the University of Arizona, which is run the team by Dante Loretta, as most people who are spacophiles probably know. And they offered this project to go out to interested groups, predominantly schools, to talk about the mission. And here in Australia, space exploration has been sort of a little bit on the back burner for a very long time, and we just last year got our own space agency. So the whole drive behind it is getting students interested in the field, and hopefully a number out of the people I reach out to may choose that as a career in the future. So that's sort of my driver behind it. And I enjoy going into schools and because astronomy is really not taught an awful lot, and space sciences, and actually, show them the clip of the launch and how it all progresses, and then arriving at Bennu and the first photos and the mapping and so on. And it's awesome. And and the kids love it.
Now, Alan, what was it that got you interested in OSIRIS-REx and reaching out to Clem and creating this new collaboration?
Oh, crumbs. What would that have been? The funny thing is space missions are not a huge particular interest of mine, but I was just fascinated that there was such a thing as a mission ambassador who wasn't employed by one of the space agencies. Citizen science is an interest of mine. And just amateur work in general. So the idea that people could be involved in this way in an actual mission, something that agencies are spending millions or billions depending on the project, that just it surprised me and it blew me away. I had to speak to him.
All those hours. And one of the things that I both love and it kind of gets me is all these different missions have these unpaid ambassadors that are doing amazing work, speaking about the mission, spreading the good word. Another one of our community members, Ambius Elad Avron, is tied in with Bereshit and Space IL. We had folks on earlier who are NASA Solar System ambassadors. And all of these people are out there doing science education because they know it's important. And they know no one's going to pay for them to do it or pay for anybody else to do it. And so to see volunteer after volunteer around the world stepping up to make a more scientific future. Thank you, guys. You're both doing this with urban astronomy and with all the independent
Well, I was going to
efforts.
say, everybody on this show, I think, is part of that.
I do make salary. I put in a lot of hours unpaid, but I do have to admit that I'm not 100% unpaid, or my husband might be much sadder.
Well, if I could get paid, I would be very happy about it. So I wouldn't complain.
Yeah. So I'm currently my day job that pays the bills is working with the OSIRIS-REx mission, and so we are all about OSIRIS-REx right now. So you two span SKA's two countries, I have to point out. I don't know if you have ever discussed this before, but do you ever get into the longer wavelengths is better, no, shorter wavelengths is better, the division of the two parts of SKA?
traditionally, South African and Australian debates are more about rugby and cricket.
That is fair. That is fair. Now,
But yeah,
Actually,
I
we should do a
suppose.
show about
Kirkland?
I said, actually, we should do a dedicated show about this, because initially it was a bit of a competition contest who would get it, and then in the end it
both.
spanned yeah, so pretty cool.
And also, it's always a very tight competition, because I think both countries had an awful lot to offer, and it was a very difficult. It must have been a very difficult decision for the people in the suits signing the documents and making the negotiations. And so, as somebody with no stake in this, I'm very happy with the compromise.
Yes.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and have you gotten to go visit your two different nations' sets of observatories? What is your favorite Southern Hemisphere object? I know what mine is, but I want to hear yours first.
Oh, I like 47 Tucani, the globular cluster. Yeah. Just because it is such, it's almost like looking at a little golf ball when you look at it through binoculars. It's this incredibly dense, bright, obvious object. It really stands out.
And what about you, Clem? What's your favorite?
Alan snapped mine. Dang.
Now there's plenty out there. You've got to.
Yeah.
I know. So, but also, I'm a globular cluster fan as well, because in my telescopes it just resolves so nicely, and I'll pick Omega Centauri then, even though I believe 47 Tucani beats it. And but if you're fortunate enough to have dark skies here, it's just unbelievable, because you got the Milky Way right overhead, and it's as I said, if you're lucky and you have a dark sky location, it's almost that you can touch it. It's unbelievable. And so I'm, as you probably can tell by my accent, I'm originally from Germany, and after getting used to that everything's upside down, so from Orion and the likes, it's weird. And I have to say, the Southern Hemisphere skies are just crazy, full of stuff, and very, it's naked eye observing first and foremost, really good.
I always like telling people that Omega Centauri is a naked eye globular.
Yes. Well, so is M13 if you're in the northern hemisphere and in the right place. You just need to know where to look. Actually, I think you can see M13 too, because it's in the heart of Cancer.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. So, I mean, the zodiac comes right overhead again. So.
And I'm loving watching the chat, because they're like, globular clusters are the best. The LMC. Everyone has such determined opinions. Omega Sun is awesome. And none of you are saying mine. So growing up in the age of high power telescopes, and I was in high school and college when Hubble started doing its thing. And so to me, the Tarantula Nebula was this big, highly detailed thing. And then the first time I looked through a telescope in the Southern Hemisphere, the Tarantula Nebula through a 12-inch telescope looks like you're looking in the face of a tarantula. And that is creepy and awesome. So the Tarantula Nebula, looking all tarantula as it does, remains my favorite Southern Hemisphere object, but you need an amateur telescope to truly enjoy it. And part of what you guys really promote is what the amateur can do. And being city dwellers, your options aren't the same. So what pointers do you like to pass on to people? And what are the things that you like to talk about together?
Wow. Clem?
Okay, I'll kick off with it. I'm one of the founding members of the chapter of the International Dark Sky Association in Victoria, where I am in Australia. So I'm on what's called the Mornington Peninsula. It's about an hour's drive from Melbourne, and you would think, okay,
you have
get a reasonably
penguins.
good, correct, small ones, fairy
Yes.
penguins. Yes, and that's right. And so we have, over the last, say, 10 years, an enormous amount of light pollution here.
Yeah.
So I'm fighting that. And despite that, I've got an observatory in my backyard, a dome, where my neighbors thought first it's a small Greek Orthodox church, but it's actually it's actually my dome. And so I doing photography work is hard if you do deep sky. So I'm predominantly doing planets and moon and just a fair bit of visual. And the thing is, if you have a good clear night, then usually you've got the moon out, and so hey, then just look at the moon. And also I do a fair bit of solar observing, so I do a little bit of everything. So but it's tough when you're near a city center and everyone thinks, oh, okay, Australia, it's empty, no one there. Where people live, they seem to light up everything, and that's a real bummer. And I think it's probably with Allen similar.
I actually moved out of the city a couple of years ago into what is in theory a very dark area. But as the city expands and developments go up and as mines get opened up around us, my sky isn't really any better than it was living in the suburbs not so long ago, which is tragic.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Have you made it up to Sutherland at all?
I think I might be the only local astronomer who hasn't.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
So Sutherland is the site of the South African Large Telescope, as well as numerous other domes. And one of my favorite nights ever out in a dark site was spent out there with a number of other members of the astronomy outreach community. We found a dark place to sit down off the road so that we wouldn't get run over by astronomers when they left their telescopes for the night. And as the sun rose, we had watched the plane of the Milky Way rotate down and seen the dust lanes change out from emu to donkey to llama, depending on your cultural perspective. And as the sun came up, we realized we had sat down in the middle of a herd of springbok. And all these amazing four-legged, not deer critters woke up, and there was one that came over to investigate a camera and was just like flaring its nostrils, and it was an amazing experience to see those dark skies, to see these things I had never seen before, and then to wake up to springbok. It was awesome.
It's one of the few places in South Africa that reliably has snow.
Yes, that is true as well. Yes.
On that note, in Australia, you obviously got in Canberra, Mount Stromlo Observatory, which sadly burned down in a bushfire. So most of the telescopes were lost. However, because it's fairly close to the nation's capital, as we say here, most of the signs had moved to Siding Spring, which is in country New South Wales, and in the Warrumbungle National Park. And if anyone does an Australia trip, I highly recommend it. You give a look at the observatory, and they do guided tours. And there's the Anglo-Australian telescope, 3.5 meters, and also our Australian part of the iTelescope network. There's a fairly large shed with an awful lot of really cool telescopes.
Peter Lake's facility.
Remotely log in if you got an account and do work from a really, really dark sky. It's cool.
And the cool thing about Siding Spring is it is infested with wallabies, giant gray kangaroos, all sorts of parrots, and I saw an echidna on the road up the mountain. So
Yeah.
clearly I am more excited about the wildlife at these facilities. But yeah.
Well, you've seen a telescope before, but
It's true. It's true. The giant red birds were rather startling. Yeah, you two live in beautiful nations.
It's in the middle of a national park, so and it's extremely dark. So the local shire has a lighting policy which is amazing, and so it's really a good thing. And there's a dog again.
Yes. We got a donation of bits. Okay, they're like, no, we're gonna sit. I'm not gonna hop up and get on camera. So I'm gonna switch over. Come on, unfreeze. You can do it. There we go. Go get them. The food hound who has been groomed to look like a bear. Who looks like a bear. He is on camera right now. Let me see if I can switch my camera for you guys over to the doggo cam. There, you can see the doggo now. So thank you all. Cool. We thank you the best way we know how, which is with cuteness and delight and joy. And so there is now a very happy doggo doing his best imitation of a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, hoovering it all up.
Oh, yeah. He is the happiest dog. And this is Eddie. He is my rescued Australian Shepherd. So he's particularly appropriate for this segment.
Excellent.
So what inspired you to start with Urban Astronomer, Alan?
You know, we were talking about SKA earlier, and one of the things that's, well, I mean, aside from the fact that I'd wanted to podcast for a number of years, but what got me focused was listening to the debate and reading commentary about it and seeing how many people were saying it should go to Australia, but it's going to go to South Africa because of development.
Right.
And that was a little insulting almost, you know, because we have science here. It's not all just mud huts and, you know, World Vision ads and what like. It's and I thought, you know, and I came to realize that even within our borders, people don't really see us as a science nation. Never mind that the Cape Town Observatory was built, and it was built at the same time that the Royal Astronomical Society was founded. Our history goes back as long as that great institution. I think they both doing their 200th anniversary this year, I believe.
You had William Herschel there.
Yeah, that's right. We had Lacaille here, the guy who mapped most of the southern constellations.
Yeah.
If I'm pronouncing that name right, I think it's verified. We've got SALT, we've got SK. You know, we had several satellites observing stations when the space race got started. You know, people working with the US government and funded to identify and track satellites coming out. We've got this massive history, we've done an enormous amount of work, and I felt that something that needs to be brought to light for our own sake and nothing else, because just think how many millions of school kids are not even considering going into the sciences because they don't have the privileged background to have been told that they can. And to know that this is even an option in this country, you know. So I thought let's take that approach, which is why there's a lot of interviews with South Africa related astronomers, either people from here or people who have come here to do astronomy.
And what has been amazing to watch is you have the Office of Astronomy for Development in Cape Town. You have one of the world's largest telescopes with SALT. You have SKA coming to the continent of Africa. The International Astronomical Union in 6 years is going to be down there I believe it's going to be in Cape Town.
Yeah.
It is a vibrant and thriving community of astronomy down there. And it's a shame that more people don't know it. And one of the things that really got me at an International Astronomical Union meeting a number of years ago is one of the South African gentlemen said that he's often asked by the people of his nation, what good is it to fund astronomy? And he pointed out that the entire budget of astronomy for a year is not quite enough to feed everyone one meal for one day. And that by building the astronomy infrastructure, they're taking into communities high-speed internet, fresh running water, so many different pieces of infrastructure that didn't used to be there. And they're showing people this nation does cutting edge science. And so it's not just the rest of the world that needs to wake up and see that the Southern Hemisphere rocks, but sometimes it's even the locals that need to take a moment and look up. Yeah, Clem.
True. Southern Hemisphere rocks. You're absolutely right. and a lot of people have very little knowledge about the fact that astronomy has been done here for quite a long time in Australia, for instance, bring how, in inverted commas, old Australia as a westernized country is, because you had I just looked it up to have my dates right. You had the Great Melbourne Telescope, for instance, which was here installed in 1869. It's a 48-inch telescope, which then subsequently was moved on to Mount Stromlo, but now came back, and there's a group of the Astronomical Society of Victoria who restore this historic telescope and have it back in its original settings. And that was the largest telescope for a very, very long time in the Southern Hemisphere. And there was some really serious science done in those days. And there is a long, long history there, which seems to be forgotten in the days of Hubble and James Webb, and that's a bit sad.
Well, so to give you a heads up, Astronomy Cast, my podcast that appears on the 365 series along with Fraser Kane, we are currently working on doing a series where we just did the cultural astronomy of the American Southwest, and then we did the telescopes of the American Southwest. Next, we're going to do South Central America. And then once we do that, you guys also have places that are on my list of places that we're going to do as part of this series. So stay tuned, and we're going to give credit to the great facilities of both your continents.
Fantastic.
So
looking forward to it.
This half hour is far too quickly coming to a close. Before it ends, where can people go to find both of you and to learn more and become part of everything that you do?
The show itself you can find at the website it's urban-astronomer.com. There's podcast links all over it. The show is also my personal Twitter account, just at @uastronomer. Clem is on Twitter as well.
Clem?
Yes, I mean, the best is probably to follow the links on the show. It's Clem Unger on Twitter, so I'm there. I'm on Facebook as well, even though it seems to die a little bit. And we. All I can say is please listen to our show, give us some likes, listen to 365 Astronomy podcast, of course, and tell us what you'd like to hear, because if we don't get any feedback, we can't produce what you'd like to hear.
So thank you, gentlemen, so much. We have had more bits come in, and I have Cheerios to throw for the doggos. Thank you for joining me. And thank you so much for being part of 365 Days of Astronomy for 10 years. And please keep doing what you do. You are giving us a view of the sky and how to observe it that, well, we need to hear more of. So thank you.
It's been an absolute delight.
And enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you very
Sunday
much.
just began. Yeah, for me.
Okay.
It's 8:30 in the morning. So, yep.
Okay.
I may take my dogs for a walk.
So thank you. I am going to hurl all the Cheerios to my dogs. Actually, I'm going to go in front of camera to give them Cheerios. Goodbye, and I will see you all on the other side.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.